Hello everyone, my name is Robert and I'm here to show you some cool Genius NFT things. Especially since I noticed that you all have been missing a big revenue opportunity with Genius NFTs, but hey, I get it. The NFT guide was recently released and the things that you'll be interested in, well, let's see, where is it? Are these phrases and targets. The Incinerator, these are the Genius NFT basics, but these are revenue opportunities and some money was left on the table. So I'm going to show you how I capture that revenue. All right, so here's a Genius account of mine that I was using in a prior video, connected on Polygon. And what you do is you go to Genius NFTs, and this here, I guess you can say it's going to load relatively quickly, but that's only because I've loaded it before. So the UI now has a progress bar, loads faster, lets you know how long you can expect to wait. That's better. So here are the sweet Genius NFTs. And to claim revenue from the Genius NFTs, you click these three dots all the way in the top corner. Let me zoom in on that so you can see it. So here's the app. Click the three dots in the corner or even on mobile phone. Go to royalty management. I think this is going to be renamed to like royalty revenue or something. And here, all right, here it just shows you some stats that, to be frank, most people aren't going to care about. But this stuff you're going to care about in the future. Here's what you care about now. You want to see the balance, right? So here, this is where the revenue opportunity is. When there is a balance, well, that balance comes from buying packs. Whenever anyone buys a pack, these balances increase. Whenever someone, let's say, trades a Genius NFT on OpenSea or Rarible or any NFT marketplace, those marketplaces know to give a piece of that sale, like a royalty, and to put it into this contract. Pretty cool, huh? And so what you're able to do is get a piece of that revenue. I'm going to show you how. But here, this is on Polygon. And at the moment, Polygon, that revenue opportunity was scraped. I think I scraped it in the previous video. But let's go to Binance. So check this out. You might find yourself in a situation where you don't have any Genius and you want to do something with that Genius. And here is how you can earn more Genius. All right, so I switched to Binance. And what you'll notice is that, okay, so there's a balance for Genius. For the first 60 days, the only way to get Genius NFT packs is with Genius. So that's the only revenue that can be made right now, and much of that revenue gets burned. But if people are trading on OpenSea and Rarible, you'll also see the native token, like for Binance, it's Binance Coin. You'll also see the native token balance. So you'll also see that revenue. Stable tokens and other tokens, that kind of revenue will come in the future when the Genius upgrades are complete. So this is what you do. In order to get a piece of this revenue, like this right here is 1.7 million Genius and 1.776 million Genius. And right now that's about, that's like $14. Cool. But to get a piece of that revenue, you're only going to get 0.168 about. Okay, so here's a $2.30 revenue opportunity, right? And the gas I'm going to spend for this is probably, who knows, 20 cents, 10 cents. So that's cool. I mean, imagine if these numbers, like this is from somebody buying one ultimate pack. So imagine this were 10 ultimate packs, right? That'd be like a free $20, $23. And that's the reward you get for helping Genius manage its stuff. So to get a piece of this, you need to be subscribed to the royalty receiver contract. And in order to be subscribed, well, you got to subscribe. By the way, a little note, this UI won't tell you whether or not you're subscribed. It will soon. But let me go to this NFT section. All right. Load my NFTs. Cool. There's the one I love. That's right. and I have a booster pack. Okay, so for me to subscribe, there's a cost. And let me show you. Well, let's go back to royalty management. When you click subscribe, the incinerator pops up. And it says incinerate 2 Genius NFTs to subscribe for 1 week. All right, well, when you burn any of these Genius NFTs, when you incinerate them, one thing to know is when you click these, like when you click at the bottom, you add it to the incinerator. So I added this common Genius NFT to the incinerator, click it again to get it out of there. But one thing to know is that these all count as 1 Genius NFT being burned, including this booster pack. So the booster pack, when you unpack it, you get 4 Genius NFTs. But if you incinerate a booster pack, it only counts as 1. So you don't ever want to do that. Let's open that pack. Oops, yeah, right here. All right, let's open it. And I use Ravi. So the pack address starts with an A001, ends with a bunch of 8s. Let me sign that. 39 cents about on Binance to unpack. Nuts. All right. So while that is unpacking, oh, there we go. Cool, I got a common. From moonrise to moonset, cool. I got another common, so that's 2. Now I got an uncommon, the world changer, sweet. And then a basic mine, oh, common amps, cool. All right, so that's kind of rare. Let's see, basic mine. Whenever you see these continued ones, it's kind of like telling you that it's part of another Genius NFT. So that's neat. Let's see what that one was about. The basic miner. Cool. Is there any sound? No sound. Okay. It says at the bottom, all Genius Edition NFTs have a base ability to upgrade a basic miner to an advanced miner. Why does someone want to do this? Because advanced miners earn nearly 3 times the revenue. The upgrade miner phrase must be called before the basic miner begins serving its first day. So that's neat. With these Genius upgrades, Genius NFTs are going to be able to unlock all sorts of cool features that have been laying very dormant in the Genius world, but laying dormant until your Genius NFT is able to unlock them. Well, that's not what we're doing now. Right now, I unpacked a bunch of Genius NFTs so that I can get a piece of this royalty or a piece of this revenue. All right, first I got to subscribe. All right, which one's what? I like this moon one. So notice it says at the bottom common. That's so you can know that you're not going to burn one that you care about. Wait. So these Genius NFTs, before you burn them, you might want to read about them because they tell you really useful information about Genius and about using Genius that you're not going to just pick up from the app. And you're probably not going to pick it up from the white paper because the white paper is more of a reference guide right now, right? So, all right, I'm going to incinerate these because they're common and I'm sure I'll see them again in the future. All right, on Binance, how much does it cost to incinerate them? It costs 15 cents to incinerate them, all right? I've spent approximately 55 cents so far to get that other money. All right, you are now subscribed, cool. Now, if I would have tried to capture this revenue before that, the transaction would have failed. I wouldn't have been able to, I don't think the wallet would have allowed me to sign the transaction. So what you want to do to get a piece of this revenue, or a piece of this balance that is within the royalty receiver contract, is you want to deploy a token. You need to put the token address and force. I'll tell you about force in a second. So here the token address, here's the Genius token, there's the token address. I'm going to copy it, paste it here. Now the reason why this force thing is there, if you want to force it, you just put like the number 1 there, right? Don't put anything to not force it. But here's what it does. What force does is if the amount of Genius inside the balance if it is less than the average size of the average miner, then the contract won't let you deploy it. Why? Because the contract's assuming that you want the revenue opportunity. So it won't let you do that. Dang. But if the size of the miner is larger than the average miner, or if the size of this genius, if the amount of this genius is larger than the average amount of genius people have used to create a miner, then this function will work. You'll be able to run this function and get a piece of that revenue. Now, what Force is about, Force is for people like, the size of this genius, it may be these genius tokens, the size of it might be smaller than your average miner. So then you wouldn't get a reward. That sucks. But if you force it, it will still work with this genius balance to burn the genius. You won't get a reward though. So people will want to do this if they want to burn the genius anyways, right? So this is like 1.7 million genius. Let's burn it. And out of the total supply of genius, which is, I think, like 285 billion at the moment, this is, oops, that's a way bigger number than I imagined. All right, so this is this isn't even 1% of the supply of genius, and it's not even 1% of 1%. So I could just leave this here to rot, but you know what? I'm gonna deploy it. Why? Because I want a piece of that genius. Just for nice measures here. Okay, I don't have any genius at the moment, so let me go to the royalty management section. Remember, I already subscribed, and now I want to deploy this token. So I copy the token address, paste it here, click deploy token. You must incinerate one Genius NFT in order to deploy a token. All right. But I love this common one. It looks so cool. I'm going to incinerate it anyways. Now there's a really cool, I wouldn't say Easter egg, but there's a really cool thing that's going to happen here when people incinerate. And you're going to want to see that in the future. So Rabby Wallet, which is awesome, tells me I'm going to get like $2, and it's going to cost like 21 cents. So far, spent 40 cents. I forget, 15 cents, 20 cents later, right? So 40, 70. So between 70, 80, 85 cents, I'm paying to get $2. All right, that's profitable. Cool, let's do it. And if it's not profitable, or if you don't want to do it, you can let this balance just keep accruing. And for somebody, it'll be worth it. Some subscriber. So I'm going to sign it and submit. Cool. So one thing I love about Binance is typically it's really fast. Love it. Token deploy was successful. So the royalty revenue page, that user interface UI, that's still like undergoing some changes and stuff, right? To make it more efficient, to make it look nicer. But at the moment, it's just core like, hey, come here for revenue. So what that did with the Genius is it did a function called proof of benevolence on it. It's a burning function. So out of all that Genius, I got like 16.9% of it. And then out of the remainder, about 2/3, wait, what happens? I don't remember. Some amount goes to advanced miners as extra revenue. Because remember, when you have a miner, you earn revenue every day. So by me performing this function, the revenue from Genius NFTs, about half of it gets paid out to all of the Genius miners, the advanced miners. It's paid as extra revenue for the day. I get my piece. My piece that I get is a little bit more than what the Genius beneficiary or treasury gets. And then the rest of it is burnt completely. Burnt forever. Which, by the way, the lower the price of Genius, the more Genius tokens it takes to be relative to $1. But the lower the price of Genius, I just want to put it to your attention, a lot of amazing things happen when the price of Genius is low or too low or considered cheap and everybody wants to buy it. The lower the price of Genius goes, the more Genius ends up getting burned. The lower the price of Genius goes, the more Genius credit gets issued. And Genius credit, remember, is one of the main things that forces Genius's price to go up, which is an amazing thing. So you know what? Compared to earlier this year, Genius is now deflationary. It's a really cool mechanic of Genius. It's pretty awesome. So let's look at that. I click these three dots on the top and I go to the word performance. I press that, I click that. And let's see how much extra revenue there was today. All right, so like 42 million Genius today was extra revenue. And with all this revenue being passed around, advanced miners are earning like 19% APY. 19% APY from real revenue sources. Real revenue from Genius token, real revenue from the native token, Binance Smart chains like Binance Coin, real revenue in stable tokens. So Genius is like, you can stake, you can mine with Genius, kind of the same thing, not really, but like what tokens out there are proof of stake where you get paid like real revenue, like from real sources of revenue, not artificial. Artificial sources of revenue are from things like, artificial revenue is from like inflation. Artificial revenue is from redistribution. Like inflation is like redistribution. Well, distribution of new supply. Redistribution of current supply, you could call that artificial revenue. Kinda, not really. I mean, there's a way you could call it that and not, but with staking with Genius or mining, staking with Genius, mining with Genius, yeah, you get real revenue. You get the artificial revenue, yeah. You get the redistribution. You get the inflating supply while the overall supply of Genius is deflating, and you get real sources of revenue. So that's awesome. Wow, this number is really high right now. What is this, like 13? I could say Genius has been around for like what, 9 months about, and 13.7 billion Genius has been burned so far. That's a lot. I think 10 billion of that is surely burned forever. Like it's not something that is mintable. 5 times 10 to the 9th power, that converts it to billion. Let's see. So far, oops, gotta respect my order of operations. So far, 4.8% of the entire supply of Genius has been burned. Less than a year. A lot of these tokens out there, like SHIB, Ripple, they pride themselves on burning probably less than 0.1% a year. Like, that's pathetic. Genius isn't even at its first year, and already more than 4.8% of the supply is burned forever. Genius's annual inflation, at most, is 4.23%. So within 9 months, Genius is already deflationary. Cool. Nothing better than, I don't know, you'll all see this. The community's consensus for Genius is that it's great to have a token that is, like, when you're locking up your token and you're earning revenue on it, it's great to earn revenue while the overall token is deflationary. That's super sweet. And in fact, as a result of that, that's where you see, let me find a DEX screener thing for you. Let's go to DEX screener. Let's see what DEX screener's got to say. Let's go here. It's a good site, DEX screener. And this is what you end up having. You end up having this happen. So this is what happens when you have a deflationary currency, and it's even greater when you're getting extra supply because you're doing things with a contract. And there's a thing with Genius called phase 3. We're currently in phase 2, which has a lot to do with accumulating debt, which is very helpful to the system. Then again, the community, we've all done some things during these upgrades where that's not really happening. So I guess you could say we're in phase 1 and 2, but technically no, we're in phase 2. And phase 3 is where Genius has over collateralized and over backed the Genius contract has over backed the Genius token with like way more than enough collateral. And what ends up happening when that happens in phase 3, what ends up happening is it becomes impossible for any whale to dump the price of Genius to zero. We had Johnny Chaos, right? He's quite outspoken and he's a great spokesperson. He's very motivational. He gets you moving. But Johnny Chaos was talking about how, you name one token, any token, name a token. I don't care if it's Bitcoin. You name one token and there's some wallet out there that can crash the price of that token to zero. So he says this is with any token, but you know what? With Genius in phase 3, it won't be possible for the biggest whale to crash the price of Genius to zero. It won't even be possible for everyone that has Genius in their wallet to all come together and sell together. It still won't even be possible to get to zero. And that's the special thing that people with Genius are wanting to share and tell everyone about. You go to the Genius room, want to tell people about that because it's exciting. Now, there's not a ton of liquidity here, which for liquidity providers who like US dollar, as the price goes up, that works out quite well. That's happened beautifully to myself many times in many different cryptos, especially during the bull market. But yeah, this is what you end up having when you have those dynamics. Genius is up 28% in the last 24 hours. That's cool. All right. Enough about that. Let's see. There it is. There's my 287,000 Genius. Sweet. By the way, if you click this use max button because you want to use all your Genius to create a miner, I press create a miner, you're going to want to remove some of the decimals at the end. It's a UI bug. Whoops. I can't wait till it's fixed though. Maybe it is fixed, but promise days. You know what? Let's lock this up for the maximum amount of promise days. Why not? Create. So there's my profit. I could have sold it on the market, but you know what? Instead, I'm going to pay another 20 cents for my free $1 worth of Genius to have that mining for me, mining revenue, advanced revenue. I'm going to get a share of that revenue every day for the next 4,444 days, which is 12 years, 2 months, including leap years. Cool. You get this cool little star when you do that. Woo, 4444 promise days. Cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot of stuff from it. And, go on to the other chains. I'm pretty sure Pulse Chain, like the amount of revenue available for Pulse Chain, I think it's at least 10, maybe 100 times the amount of revenue I did. So if you're the first person to see this video and go to Pulse Chain, put a comment below. Please like, subscribe, share this video, but put a comment below. Let me know how Pulse Chain did. Let me know how much revenue you scraped from that. And your contribution of doing that also helps the Genius ecosystem become much better. Genius, speaking of ecosystem, sure, Genius is an AI contract. It has its own token that the AI is constantly strategizing to make that token more valuable. What you really have with Genius is an economy, is a full economy, and it's bright and early, very new. We're all very early with this. Man, I'm just so excited. Now I gotta wind down and go to sleep. It's almost 1 o'clock here in Florida, so have a good one. Bye-bye.